I seem to have heard that refrain once or twice before already. The fact of the matter is, I had other things to do besides this.
Well, we appreciate you being here.
So I
You still make it over there.
no, I sold my tickets. I can't use the same ticket twice.
All right, I think it's time. We'll go ahead and call the plan commission meeting to order. There's two things on the agenda, but it'll really be three, and I'll explain that. But the first thing is the minutes that I had sent out. Pretty non-controversial, but if anybody had any comments or corrections on those, otherwise we'll deem them final. I'll scratch off draft and put final on them and give them to Luann. By the way, how is Luann? I called her and she didn't answer, so I didn't bother her anymore. All right, so that's one. Okay, so there's a request in the historic district for a sign. I think that was attached to we're gonna do that one first, just to get that one out of the way. I think it's for the dog grooming business.
Yep.
And that's just an approval of a sign, and the sign was attached to all the stuff. It's certainly in compliance with the requirements size wise and meets all the standards. So it just it's a requirement in the historic district, so it just needs our approval. So I don't know if there's any discussion on that. I have copies if you didn't bring one. Yeah, no, I got copies of both those. But give people a chance to look at it. I might have not, I'm not giving you the color version there.
Well, that's going on the east side of Harris Store there.
What used to be Harris Store.
Yeah.
There
was a dog ring there.
at one time.
Yeah.
It was a really cool color. I had a color version. Oh, you did, you have it, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
It's gonna mount it to a pole and the sketch here shows it mounted between the two poles. Is that how they're gonna do it?
I think it's standing out from the pole.
Yeah, it is.
Is
It's
it?
perpendicular.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's a little deceptive.
we need a 3D, we need a 3D printer or something. Yeah,
A fact finding truth.
yes, let's have them say.
Down the street.
There's no other discussion or anything, I move that we approve it.
I would second that.
Okay. Mike and Jack. Okay, is there any other discussion? Not all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, all opposed? All right, okay, so the other issue, and the request, the requesting parties here tonight, so we'll let them talk here soon, but so this is kind of a continuation of what we talked about last meeting with the body art studio. And the fact that, you know, it's not permitted, it's not a permitted use, so we would have to add it as some kind of use, permitted or special. And I think our discussion last time was that we, you know, not in the historic district, and the other thing was that you know, it probably should be a special use, not just an automatic permitted use. And then I think Luann's handed out some information since the meeting, but it was kind of hypothetical last meeting. So we'll continue that discussion. But if we were to do this, we would then also have a hearing tonight to potentially approve the special use, and then the council still has to approve both. So that's kind of why I said there's 3 issues, not 2, but can't do them at the same time. But before I open it up to our guests, who are the only ones here, I didn't ignore the mayor. But is there any other like items people want to cover, or did I remember things wrong from the last meeting?
I think that's pretty accurate.
Okay, so I will let them first describe what property they're considering at this point. And then any questions we have about the business itself, and then we can go from there. So turn it over to you guys.
Yes, sir. I'm Matt Helm. This is my wife Tiffany. We currently own 618 Inc. in Salem. We have an artist base of 10 and 2 piercers, so we're really busy. And I have 2 full-time artists that are looking to come this way. We was hoping to purchase a building there. Is it Sheppy's?
Scalpers, yeah.
Scabby. That building, I went and looked at it. It's in pretty rough shape, but I'm really good at carpentry.
It's been many things over the years. too.
Has it?
Yeah, it was a gas
The
station.
gas station's what we all remember.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I believe what the realtor showed me, the garage door that they took out and made the front entrance.
Yeah,
Pretty cool little spot. We was hoping to make it beautiful again and bring a nice little business to downtown. Currently, we'll be having 2 full-time artists in there. Myself, I'll be here part-time. And we plan on building artists, so finding art students that are looking to take on this trade and teach them how to do it properly and give them the chance to do it. We're not the normal tattoo shop where it's bikers and crazy people, nothing like that. We try to bring a whole nother aspect to it. Kind of give it a more of a spa-like, kind of therapeutic aspect, you know? A lot of people really love us in our town. We do a lot of stuff for our communities. We just got asked to do the school carnival again. We do face paintings and all kinds of art for kids, and we do a lot of stuff. Yes, sir.
Question, I hate to interrupt you, but how do you control that?
Control.
You said the bikers and all that, how do you control it?
Well, I mean, you can't really control it. We just don't actively work on clients like that very much. I mean, we do get a few from here and there, but we try to bring in a little bit more of the, younger teens, and we do a lot of moms that do a lot of stuff in our area. I mean, tattoos are not for everyone, but I feel like we bring a whole different aspect than some of our local competitors. I mean, we can't ever really control
yeah.
who comes in, who doesn't, but we
It's just
try
a
to.
question that popped in my head,
Yes, sir.
because I'm a retired biker myself. But
Yeah.
I don't have any tattoos, but,
You could be the first customer when.
I don't think so. I'm 400 now, so I don't think 401, so.
But we do definitely try to bring a different element to the tattoo industry. Yeah. I mean, we can have tons of different people vouch for us in our own little town. We tattoo a lot.
You're in
of-
Salem, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
We tattoo a lot of cops and lawyers and judges and police officers and,
You have
Little bit
any
of
reference
everybody.
letters or anything?
excuse me,
Do you have any reference letters?
I can get them for sure. I didn't realize it was.
Well,
would be a necessity of seeking.
The facility you have currently, how big is that compared to?
It's 5,500 square foot. It's a pretty large building. We're right in a block away from the courthouse.
Yeah.
I've
But
started,
would you be moving into a bigger building? Is this bigger than what you have now?
it's 3,000 square foot. And we're not moving. I'm keeping that.
Yeah,
facility.
I'm saying.
But this would be a little bit smaller than the one we're
It'd be
used to.
smaller, okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, one concern, I mean, if you're talking about Sheppy's place down there, ingress and egress is oftentimes a problem down there because you're backed up right on the main highway, except for up the one side there on Shute Street. But, is that, do you see that as a problem or parking as a problem or how would you approach that?
This is probably one of the better locations that we found around here for the parking situation. It does have a current spacing for at least 10 vehicles. with
You've
a-
got street parking on the side.
Yes, sir, there's
Yeah.
spots.
But to Mike's point, when it was a restaurant, we normally didn't park in the parking lot because you didn't want to back out onto the highway.
Yeah,
Depending on what time of the day, during the rush hour, definitely. If it was later in the evening, it wasn't as big a deal, but.
yes, sir.
What kind of hours is it?
Currently we run 10 to 6. So we're kind of in early and out early. Everything does vary depending on client, what time they get off work, where they're coming from, different variations of that, but normally it's Monday through Friday, 10 to 6, Saturday, and Sunday by appointment only.
And then hygiene is up to you, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
To watch the hygiene portion of it.
We are very clean. We've had 100% rating on every test or every inspection they've ever done. I'm a stickler, to say the least, on all that. All my guys are trained in bloodborne pathogens and all kinds of other certifications for, bloodborne pathogens.
Are they still giving you tattoos over here at, Brewers?
I didn't know they were.
My
but-
understanding they were, yeah, that there were, if you got there at the right time of day, there would be,
Or night?
or night, yeah, there would be people in there getting tattoos.
Nice.
So you might have competition there,
We love competition.
Okay.
For that, you
Okay.
don't.
It probably doesn't hurt that you'd be close to a military base.
Yes, sir.
We actually
It has-
have people from Scott come to us.
Yeah,
We have a lot of clients from around this area that drive to Salem for us.
really.
Actually, I think we have at least 6 current members at Scott that drive to us. And they have all been over the moon about it, not having to drive so far.
Is that the preferred place you'd like to go? You have 3 places.
Well, sir, the first one was the no-no spot.
It was in the historic district. We said Brick Street and the confusion probably was that's not bricked on that side, but it's still part of the historic
That you would
district.
prefer to be there?
Yeah, we met with the realtor and looked at it, and as soon as I walked in, I fell in love with the space.
Okay.
It does need a tremendous amount of work, but like I said, we have a good team of craftsmen that could have handled it, but knowing that it's on the historic district, we backpedaled and looked at another building. We met with Dean Olsey, about his place out there in the Lebanon Commons. We like that space, but inevitably, we'd just love to own. It's just a better way to go for everybody. Cause I could take that building and make it look beautiful again and give it some nice thriving business and hoping to take some people from your area and turn them into tattoo artists. I don't know if that's too, horrible to
Maybe more
say,
tattoo fans, right?
Yeah.
but usually if people dislike tattoos, they like us. So, we get our ends there.
So what do we have to do?
Well, so I guess we kind of combined the two here a little bit. The first question, that we have to answer or recommend is, do we want to put as a special use in the C1 district? We want to recommend to the council for that. Because we have to do that, the council has to approve that before their actual project can be approved. But I wanted those questions answered so we can because these were some of the questions we had last time, but we weren't sure, so.
I'm a very open book. I'll give you 100% transparency all the way across the board.
But I didn't see, especially after hearing this, but I didn't see any issue with recommending it as a special use. Is body art studio, what's the right term, I guess? And that, I guess tattoo shop's okay, but.
Well, on the signage, it would just be 618. And you can refer to it as tattoo studio, tattoo shop. I mean, we usually use studio. But, there's nothing in the signage about that, so it'd just be 6180 posted on a couple signage places there. I seen there was, I think, 4 spaces per sign. I think we was talking about possibly removing one, just to make it a little less cluttered, and then do up 3 nice signs.
Yeah. And then we do have a sign ordinance, but it's not hard, you know, you can get with.
Yes, we have to go through
You
that
you would have
as
to,
well.
yeah, but that wouldn't come through us, as long as you're in compliance, you're good to go.
So would you do, could you do a booth at the fall festival and do face painting and all that, or was
Yeah,
that?
if he wanted to get a booth, yes, he could do it at the May Market or the.
May Market? Yeah, we have these other things going on where this all gets closed down and.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I don't know if you've ever been here for that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. That would be something else you could look at.
Yeah, I mean, we'd be happy to do all kinds of things for the
Yeah.
community.
Anything but tattooing.
Yeah.
On the birds.
Yeah, Brent, I think special use permits, the only way really to.
Right, yeah, that was my thought last month, but I don't, I think it's pretty easy to recommend.
Yeah.
I just I don't want to speak for the group.
So
Speak up. girl.
if I can ask a question, since I'm relatively new to all this. So special use permit would be a one-time permit for this specific business, and then if somebody else came in with a similar business, they would have to go through. the
Right,
same process. Okay.
Right, yeah, and it kind of gives the city a little more control. If you just make it a permitted use, then
Yeah.
the 10th one, you wouldn't have a discussion about it. And the reason for it too is things like parking. You know, you wanna make sure that whatever is being asked is reasonable. Do they have the parking? Do they have ingress? That type of thing. And then you can put restrictions on it too. It's approved, however, you have to
Sure.
meet these requirements, and in this case, it wouldn't be like a long list, but in some cases with those, it's a long list. But as far as recommending to put it on the list you can't ask for a special use permit unless it's in the ordinance as something that can be a special use permit. So right now, our ordinance is silent on these types of businesses, so when it's silent, it means they're not permitted. So you have to either put them on as a permitted or a special use, so
Thank you for
That's-
clarification.
the reason for why.
Oh,
The two steps.
If I understand it correctly, it doesn't pass from one owner to another.
Right. Yeah, that's the other thing. It doesn't just.
So it is
automatically-
only with the current owner in the current property, if it ever changes title.
So if they would want to
Sell.
move to another property or sell their business or whatever, that would have to go through.
Yeah, if they want to sell that shop as a shop, new owner would have to.
Or if they
Together,
wanted to move to a different location, they grew the business and they need more space kind of thing, they'd have to come back.
come back for this, yeah, for the new property, so.
You need our,
I need an emotion and a second to put it on the special use permit list in the C1 district.
well, I so move.
Let's say you're in that kind of mood
Yeah.
tonight.
Well, I can still watch the game on TV.
Okay, who seconded?
I second.
Okay. Evan, all right. Is there any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. All right, so then the other issue is actually the special use permit request, which they did fill out the paperwork and paid the fee. I think the only, if we get pushback that, if the attorney says, well, that's not protocol, well, that's not our problem. We followed the right procedure as far as I'm concerned. First, we put it on there as a recommendation. And then if the council says, no, we're not doing any of it, then it doesn't matter anyway, so. And they have their meeting Monday. So anyway, back to this. The question I think has to be, is there any restrictions we'd want to put on it? And I do think the parking is, you know, a little bit of a concern. Is there a way to, I mean, you could maybe not parallel park, but the problem is if you just pull into the building and you back out, that's where the problem is.
Mhm.
Probably if you came at, you know, if you came in and you had 3 or 4 cars, you could fit in there side by side where they can get out, it's not so dangerous, but
Yeah.
I don't think you can't put a restriction on you where you can't back out onto the highway, but maybe you could. But that to me is the biggest concern. It's
Where
just,
did all the people park when it was a restaurant?
well, that's a good question. Over at the bank, they pack,
Okay.
they're, you know,
Wherever
So
they
just
find
any-
park, yeah.
the street.
on the street mostly.
Yeah, along Shoot Street mostly.
It was mostly people, hey, I don't wanna play Dodge cars.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, the realtor said that the guy that owns the lot directly behind that building is a stickler. He owns Dairy Queen, I guess, and it wouldn't sell any part of that little spot.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna see if we can get to be friends and see if I can move a wire the spot back there. I don't know if that happened or
I have
not.
no idea if owns that anymore.
Whew. Well, Dairy Queen owns the rest of that, don't they?
Well, yeah, the Hardys sold it and I don't know who bought it. I can't
I
remember.
think Dairy Queen owns, the owner of Dairy Queen owns that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cause there used to be a house back there
Mhm.
and they bought it. and
Yeah,
took that down.
and the Dodge dealership lived there.
Well, not to go back to, my dad ran that gas station.
Yeah.
For a long time.
Yes, sir.
How many customers do you anticipate being there?
Well, I mean, we'll only have 2 artists to start, so I mean, at the most, it'd probably be 4 to 6 customers at any one given time, unless they're coming in just to
So
check
you
out the place.
anticipate a big parking problem anyway, right?
Yeah, I mean, parking's always somewhat of an issue. At my current location, we have 13 spots, and we do pretty good with that.
But you have more artists there than
Yes, sir.
you're gonna have here. Yeah.
Is there an ADA requirement for parking? Is it striped that way or?
It is accessible because there's no elevation change, so out of the parking lot.
But I know
But there's no ADA parking.
But
there's
there's,
usually a certain number of spaces. A lot of
that's a
times it's
good
based on
question.
square footage of the business.
Now you're getting into stuff I don't know. I mean, I know about ADA, but I don't know about.
And I know enough to know that there's questions to ask, but I don't know specific requirements, but usually in the building code, whatever, I'm not sure what building code version we have.
Yeah,
Lebanon or,
that's a good question. We have, if we have,
but if that
What's that?
parking is to remain
2009, maybe? The building code 2009,
IBC 2009,
I think. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on it. Not
but
even.
it
that.
would have provisions, I think, somewhere in there based on the usage and maybe area of business of what that parking requirement might be. Now, if that's covered by an ordinance, I don't know if that would need to be in the.
yeah, I don't know, and I don't think it's, it wouldn't need to be in there, but I guess. If nobody pushed it and they didn't comply with that, it'd be no big deal, right? But if it gets pushed, they'd have to comply, and we'll have to research that.
Does the age of the building have an exemption for that or anything?
What's that?
The age of the building, how old that, I mean, that building's been there for a while.
When they remodel
Parking.
Not for parking.
Not-
When they remodel it, they gotta go to the
Yeah,
ADA.
Yeah.
if you remodel it, you're gonna have to. do it
Comply.
anyway.
But that could, I mean, in theory, that could be your handicap parking there in the front, you know. Just, it's right there and that's for them. And it would certainly comply. We've never addressed that issue in a special use permit before. We've addressed parking, but not
Mhm.
from that standpoint. It was more about volume.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we're definitely willing to do whatever.
Well, and if, I guess you probably do a lot of the work yourself, but
Yes, sir.
if you have to get an outside party like an engineer, they would say, hey, you gotta do this, so. Yeah, probably ought to at least check it,
Yeah.
but
Now, we got a decent team of, construction guys that'll be coming over as well.
it's a pretty basic question, I just haven't had to deal with it before.
sure if the attorney finally gets a hold of all of this, they'll figure it out. Whether. Or to put
They
one.
don't get it, do they? The-
Well,
It's up to the council to approve it.
It is, yeah.
If they approve it.
I don't think we shouldn't put anything in our restriction for them. I mean, that would be,
Yeah.
it's kind of like a building inspector, you know, we don't,
Yeah.
they have to comply with the building inspector. We don't
Right.
Right.
put that in our special, you know, it's not contingent upon complying because they have to do that anyway.
And we already did get the list of occupancy things that need to be done in
Requirements.
the property before it can even be used.
Yeah.
Can we do this not knowing? You made the decision to be at that address, or are you
Right.
still looking around?
I mean, that would be our spot. I haven't pulled the trigger because I didn't know how this was gonna
Yeah.
go. I didn't wanna offer them.
Yeah, he didn't want to buy it and then.
I figured out
yeah,
this was-
and it's say no.
That's what I'm saying. Can we do this not saying at this address?
Yeah, at this address, yeah. So if it falls through and they need somewhere else, then they just come back again.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That worked for us.
So do we have to wait then for the council to approve that, or?
Well, they do, yeah.
They do.
But we can approve recommending it. Although I don't want to have a special meeting. after.
Yeah, no.
Like a ping pong ball.
And
back
it
and
did
forth.
meet the notification requirement?
Yep. Yeah, actually, when I sat down, we verified too, it was, I mean, the issue of putting it on was actually met because it was on the agenda last month, so it just continued. And then this one, they filled out the paperwork and all that, so we should be, or they should be good. Yeah, I don't want to cut people off, but all it'll take is someone to say, I recommend that, but it's, again, restrictions is the only. Anybody has any way to word that? But it is zoned right and it's been a retail before. I have no problem with it.
But there would be, with a special use permit, there would not be any restrictions, that we would not be adding anything onto that.
Right, yeah, I mean, in this case, there's
Yeah.
no restriction like there are with
Right.
some where you have a long
Yeah.
list of things.
Okay.
Now, is there a sales tax money that comes back into the,
Yeah,
the
I
town?
meant to ask that last time
Okay.
for the material.
Yes, sir.
Do you sell stuff too?
We do jewelry and
Yeah, so there'd
Merchandise,
be
you know,
some sales
clothing.
tax on that too.
little stuff like that. I mean, we have a couple different products that were sponsored from different companies and.
What do you have for Valentine's Day?
Beautiful matching his and hers.
March and Reading.
All right, well, we can get out here early if somebody wants to recommend, or we can discuss it more. I don't care.
Nobody else has anything?
There you go, Mike.
I'll make that motion to recommend it.
Is there a second?
Second,
Oop, Wendell.
I woke
Yeah, I think the recommendation is provisional based on.
Right,
Based on,
Yeah.
and I would say that provisional based on council.
Council
acceptance.
approval.
Yeah. yeah, not making this, or, yeah. not
I don't wanna be
dictating to them.
presumptuous.
Right,
That
right.
that way, we're not telling the council how to run it, but we would be.
In favor and
in
we're
favor of it.
recommending.
That would be a committal to yes,
Yeah,
if they would concur.
yeah.
And that gives them an out,
Yeah,
because there may be discussion.
yeah.
That's why I say, because right now there is none. And
Yeah, and I think it would be beneficial for you to be at the council meeting. Is that Monday at 6:30 or 7?
If it gets on the agenda,
Okay.
if you put it on the
Okay,
agenda.
yeah, well, I will duly note.
Yeah.
I will duly note that. Yeah, this is kind of awkward this time because it's so close to the meeting.
Right.
Usually we have a week and a half.
Right.
Now we're, okay, so tomorrow I need to say
You know,
what's on the agenda.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
so you. Make the drive back.
Yes, ma'am.
It's at 6:30.
Monday, 6:30?
And it'd be entertaining.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Meetings are always entertaining, yeah.
Okay. I'll be here.
We hope it's really long.
That's a good word, entertaining.
All right, so we have a motion and a second for a recommendation for approval of the special use permit that's requested. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Done.
Yes, sir. Thank you, gentlemen.
That's it.
We close the
Not
meeting.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Hey, we're done.
There we go.
Like you
It's time to get to the.
gotta get to the church council meeting.